So I'm beginning my next video for first-time visitors to Baku. This video is going to cover the old city İçerişeher, the Flame Towers area, and the Baku Bulvar as well as the kind of the areas to see within these uh, these places in the city. So the İçerişeher old city is the old city of Baku. Obviously, it's kind of very similar to Sultanahmet in Istanbul, or if you've been to Lahore, the walled city in Lahore. Very old, obviously, that is the original Baku, basically. As kind of old, most old cities, it was enclosed within walls of a fort. So it dates back many maybe thousands of, maybe hundreds, definitely hundreds of years, possibly even longer than that, as it is the original settlement of Baku was this part until the city began to expand outside the city walls. As with Sultanahmet and kind of the walled city in Lahore, it still is the functioning. It's not completely tourist. It is a tourist area, but it's a functioning part of the city as well. There are businesses there, residence houses there. I did notice some of the foreign ambassadors had their residences there. You saw, I definitely saw the Italian ambassador's residence is in the old city, due to the plaque you could see outside the building with the Italian and EU flag there. So it is a functioning part of Baku. It's a pedestrian area now. The Baku Metro does have a stop there, and cars do go in through the walled city, are allowed until about 11 a.m. until it's closed. So there's one kind of main entrance, very picturesque entrance actually, into the old city. So old city has a lot of restaurants too. Also, some of the good restaurants which I mean, like Kainara is located there. It's a very I really enjoyed it. It's very picturesque. It's all cobblestone area, and very small and compact also. So really, the kind of three main areas to see in the old city. I'll start off with the first one. The first one is the Maiden's Tower. So the Maiden's Tower, prior to the construction of the Flame Towers, the main symbol of Baku was the Maiden's Tower. So it's this kind of like a castle embankment type of tower is how it's kind of constructed. No one really knows what the use of it was. Excuse me. Some people said it was for a watchtower. Some people says it was more of a like a jail. So no one really knows at this even today what was the rationale or the reasoning by the construction of it. So many different theories. But it has many levels containing historical displays of what kind of old Baku city looked like at that time and period. There's a tour guide there who will help guide you through the Maiden's Tower if you need help. There's a fee to actually get in also. You can go to the top of the Maiden's Tower and you have very nice views of old city Baku from there. They don't have an elevator, so it's all walking through stairs. And the one thing just to keep in mind is that because it is very old, height-wise, if you're kind of tall, when you're going through the stairs, make sure you kind of duck your head below, otherwise you'll hit your head on the stone, which I kind of grazed twice when I was there. So just kind of be careful about that. But it's a very fascinating old structure to visit. I really enjoyed it, especially the view from the top was amazing. So that's the Maiden's Tower. The other main site in the old city is the Shirvanshah Palace. So the Shirvanshah were the main local dynasty prior to the emergence of the Safavid Empire, before the Safavids defeated the Shirvanshahs. So the Shirvanshahs ruled Baku and kind of the surrounding areas as well. So So there's obviously the Shirvanshah Palace is not. It's a very older structure. It's not as ornate as let's say Topkapi Palace is in Istanbul, but it's a very kind of classical old type of palace. They do have exhibits there as well. Kind of older tombs of kind of the royal family are also located there. Small gift shop, but it's very fascinating to see. It's not a very huge palace, obviously because the old city is not very large in itself, um, but very interesting to see that type of old structure, how a palace was kind of constructed at that time. So you're talking about 1100, 1200 AD, basically. So very fascinating to see kind of this old palace. The other two sites in the old city which you want to see are the two very old caravanserais, which have kind of been converted to like restaurants. One is the Bukhara caravanserai, and the other one is a caravanserai called the Multani caravanserai, obviously named after Multan in Pakistan. Which basically means there were visitors from Multan who at some point were visitors to Baku for many, many years. So those are, if you want to go and see those sites as well, that's the other kind of area you want to see. Then obviously the walk in around the whole old city is very nice. I always enjoy walking through again, these old historical areas. It gets you a feel of what life was like back in those days. So the next stop is the Flame Towers area. So as I just mentioned a few minutes earlier, the main symbol of Baku for many, many years was the Maiden's Tower. It was until the Flame Towers were built. So the Flame Towers are three kind of identical towers built in the shape of flames. They are built proper buildings. They are, one of them houses a hotel, one of them houses, I think, offices. The other one, I think, houses, is apartments. I did not go inside the Flame Towers, but it came very close. But the fantastic thing about the Flame Towers is that at night, the buildings are lined with LED bulbs, so they light up and they show different kind of scenes. So sometimes it lights up in lights of the Azerbaijani flag. Sometimes it lights up as flames. Sometimes it lights up as a person waving the Azerbaijani flag. So if you, at night, it's a must see at night. It's a really, really spectacular sight, especially if you can go up close to it in this area. So close around the Flame Towers area are three areas, basically two areas which are worth visiting. One is the Shahid Ler Khiyabani. So the Shahid Ler Khiyabani is an avenue of graves for the martyrs of Azerbaijan, both for the martyrs of the Black January massacre and the martyrs of the war against Armenia. So they're buried. It's a very solemn area. There's also one area of graves of Ottoman Turkish soldiers who helped to liberate Azerbaijan shortly after the Russians, the Russian Empire declared its ceasefire with the Germans, and they lost control of the Caucasus. So the Ottoman Empire sent soldiers there to protect Azerbaijan from mostly from the Armenians who had invaded and were ransacking the area. So it's a very solemn area. I went at night when no one else was kind of there. Obviously, during the day, you'll have relatives visiting the graves of their loved ones who were martyrs for the martyrs of the country of Azerbaijan. So it's a very solemn area. The other part of that is the eternal flame for Azerbaijani martyrs, which is there. From that area, you get very sweeping views of Baku Bay, of the city from there, at the Flame Towers as well. But once again, it's a very solemn area. I went at night, so myself and my friend's brother went there at night. So it was a very there's very, very few people there, but I'm assuming during the day it's a very you'll have many people that are visiting the graves of their loved ones. The other area, which is very close by, which I did not get a chance to visit, unfortunately, due to my getting sick, was the Fakhri Khiyabani. So the Fakhri Khiyabani, so Shahid Khiyabani means Alley of Martyrs. Fakhri Khiyabani means Alley of Heroes. So the Fakhri Khiyabani are the graves of the heroes of Azerbaijan and prominent figures of Azerbaijan. Most prominently, the tomb of the national leader Haydar Aliyev is there. Due to my sickness, unfortunately, I was not able to go and pay my respects to his tomb and to Haydar Aliyev. Inshallah, on my next visit, I hope to do so. But that's the other attraction in the Flame Towers area, which is worth seeing. The final part, which you want to see, is the Baku Bulvar, or in Azerbaijani, the Deniz Kanari Milli Park, or the rough translation is the national park along the sea, rather. Sorry. So it's basically a promenade, a kind of semicircular promenade along Baku Bay. I'm not exactly sure of the total length. From what I remember, it stretches quite far. Great place to walk. Apparently, there are a lot of entertainers there and whatever. It's a place for families to walk around. It's an excellent walk. You get excellent views of the city. You get to smell kind of the oil and gas off the water as well if you walk a little bit closer to the water. There's shopping malls there. There's a huge shopping mall which is under construction there. Also, there is the Baku Eye, which is the Ferris wheel, essentially right on the water, which you can take a ride on. I didn't get a chance to. I wasn't feeling well, unfortunately. But you get very nice views of Baku Bay, of downtown Baku, the flame towers from that area. Very nice area to walk in. The other thing of that area is that kind of surrounding it. They're very in the vicinity. They're very nice cafes and restaurants also close by to the Baku Bulvar. So it's a must see to go there. It's a must see to do in Baku. Now, from my understanding, during the spring and summer months, along the Baku Bulvar, there's a mall where you can get a ferry, which does kind of a short tour of Baku Bay on a ship. They don't do it apparently in the winters, so I didn't get a chance to do that. Hopefully, if I go in warmer temperature, that ferry will be running, and I'll get to do that trip. So that is that for this video. So my final video will kind of be a wrap-up video, basically talking about Haydar Aliyev International Airport, Azerbaijan Airlines, and any things you want to go for shopping in Baku. Until then, thank you.